Welcome back, everyone. Well, we've got some big earnings coming in today, and I'm excited to cover them. This is really now starting to become the beginning of earnings season, and it's going to be exciting. Get your dollars ready for some time to tip, and at least pretty much all of this year when we have tech earnings, we see earnings beat like crazy, and then stocks fall. So maybe this time we'll have misses on tech and stocks will actually go up to reiterate this end of the year rally, which we've kind of started. We'll see if we sustain. So worth noting, the first earnings report that we're going to get today is going to be Netflix. Then we're going to go on to United Airlines. And this is obviously in addition to the earnings we already covered this morning, like Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble. But Netflix, United Airlines will actually have Interactive Brokers, which should be a good little foreshadow for Robinhood. We have those are probably going to be the big ones that we're going to look at after here. Certainly Netflix. Then again, United Airlines, we'll take a peek at them, and Interactive Brokers. We'll take a look at those. Maybe also take a look at WD-40 just to see if we can get a little bit of a tell to see how supply chain issues are moving and other constraints are. So we'll go ahead and have these pulled up. Again, Netflix, United, Interactive Brokers, WD-40. We'll watch these once we get to earnings, which these are all reported for Netflix at the bell. A little bit later for United Airlines, WD-40, 405, Interactive Brokers at the bell as well. So Netflix and Interactive will be first. Okay, so let's go take a look and see how things are evolving today. We've got, again, a little bit of an interesting market here. So let's get situated and get going. All right, let's see here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Bitcoin to see how Bitcoin's been moving. Obviously, we have the Bitcoin Futures ETF that started trading today. We just touched 64,000, by the way, which is really incredible. Super happy to see this. We've got Ethereum not really keeping pace, by the way, and neither is Cardano. This is an almost a Bitcoin exclusive run here. So you're at 63.7 right now on BTC. Did run as high as 64,000. Intraday has been pretty wild today. We've been all over the place intraday. Let's see here. We can see it better on a 30-minute chart. Yeah, look at this. We had futures. Let's go to here. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. That'll be a little easier to see. So 5-minute chart, we had our opening bell right here at 6:30. We ran up from about 62.3 to about 63.3, did crash to about 61.4, only to recover straight to about 64,000. There we go. We're at 64,000 as well. So congratulations on Bitcoin. Let's see here. Okay. Let me update this. All right, there we go. So let's see. Yeah, this is a pretty nice move here on Bitcoin. That probably means BITO, the first Bitcoin Futures ETF, is doing well. Yeah, you could see this is pretty much tracking as you would expect to track. Now, this is not something that I would invest in for a long-term investment. You kind of get killed in some of the fees and the way they roll futures contracts. So if you're not familiar with backwardation or contango, I would stay away from this. I would rather own the cryptocurrency itself. This is clearly a very bullish move here on the Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin Futures ETF is really what it should be. Which very bullish here. I'll take a look at this. Alibaba moving a nice 6% today after talk about that ARM deal for the 5 nanometer chip. This is pretty cool. Something they'll be using privately. ChargePoint up 6.68%. Had a nice big call option on this. Was awesome. And then we've got Matterport 5.28% here on Matterport. Awesome. Still got calls on Coin as well. Coin doing well. Enphase also got calls over here. Pinterest also got calls on Pinterest. These guys doing very, very well. Pins is one of mine that's in the neg. It's pretty ugly in the negative, but that's okay. Other things kicking butt. Can't win them all. Corsair Gaming sneaking up. Very nice. 1.37%. Let's go look at the losers here. Macy's dropping about 5.84% after that run yesterday. Upstart pulling down almost a full 5% here, falling into the close. Net down 3%. Looks like it is also falling into the close, along with SoFi falling into the close. You have Lucid, kind of stable going into the close here. Owlet and Lemonade, these guys getting burned right here into the close. Let's see. Dave & Buster's continuing its trend down right now. I wonder if it's going to go back to $30. Affirm down about 0.75%, but most of that happened at the beginning of the day. And Tesla is pretty much at the lows of the day, sitting around that 866, 865, 867 level, right around there. DraftKings only up about 0.52% after news of its Polygon, or should I say Matic partnership on NFTs. So that'll be interesting to see how this develops. We've got NEO up about 1%, sitting right at about $40. Not as high as what we had right when we opened. Really, the first 20 minutes of the trading day appear to have been rather the most exciting, with the exception of for Dutch Bros, which has been pretty much straight up throughout the day. Now sitting at $63, roughly. Oh, yep. Now just beating the all-time high, all-time intraday high of 62. Beating this, now sitting at 63.14 with an intraday high at 65.80. My goodness. 23andMe coming out of the SPAC burial ground. Finally, 23andMe running out a little bit. Back to almost $10, the classic par value for most SPACs. Let's see here. Okay, good. So let's take another look at Bitcoin, see what's happening here. Why are we running so much on Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of enthusiasm around the Bitcoin ETF. It's fascinating to me that if we go out to the hour chart, we have this very, very nice trend here, and we clearly broke away from 58,000, which is excellent. And now we're just on a beautiful accelerating uptrend here. So loving what I'm seeing right now. Haven't been buying Bitcoin since dips at some of the other levels, but it does make you wonder if we're going to run over to 70,000 on this. Let's go grab Ethereum as well. Let's take a look over here. Ethereum kind of still stuck. Look at this. Ethereum really sitting stuck around the 38.24 level. This is kind of where it's been stuck almost all day long. And if we go to the day chart, we can see a little bit more enthusiasm here on the trend for Ethereum, but really getting stuck in this channel. And the channel is really about a 38 level to about 4,000. You're really hitting against that 4,000 psychological threshold. Another thing that's doing really well in the crypto space is obviously the Coin partnership announcement with Facebook. Coin has just been on a run the last, since October 5th. October 5th, for what it's worth, has been quite a bit of a, looking back, a turning point. Because around October 5th is when we ended this crazy fall, where in September we just had the market continuously dropping. I think the easiest way to see that is if we just zoom out, and we'll hit the SPY here really quick. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's jump to the SPY. We should see an inflection there around October 5th. Let's take a look. So yeah, look at this. You can see the real pain here. October 5th was one of the bottoms for the S&P 500. We really started rotating down around September 7th. This is where I had a lot of videos talking, just leading up to September and August, and leading up to September. A lot of talk about me hoarding cash, keeping cash on the sidelines, ready to buy the dip, ready to see what happens. And we ended up getting all these fear catalysts that created a perfect buy the dip opportunity. Not everything I bought obviously timed the bottom perfectly. I did purchases on the 5th, 4th, 3rd, you name it, the 30th, all throughout kind of this madness over here. And of course, anytime we had individual stocks dipping to levels that are really enjoyable, I added to those. I'd never added to Coin. I've had plenty of a position that I've added to Coin consistently in the prior dips, which the prior dips would really have been over here in July, or I'm sorry, this is the S&P 500. Which is where we've also had dips on Coin, but let me see here. Yeah, see, look at this. Coin has really just been skating along this support line here. And when you look at it this way, from a TA perspective, we should really be able to run to 320 on Coinbase pretty soon. And if we break that three positive optimism, especially if we get positive earnings results out of some of these companies, then I think we could see Coinbase finally back to some of its IPO pricing. If I look at Coin right now, I can tell you, let's see, earnings and estimates. See when they report next. So their next announcement is in 10 days. It's October 29th. There's an expected move of about 3.66% in pricing for the stock at earnings. I have a feeling it's potentially going to be a little bit more volatile than that, but we'll see. But again, you've come off this insanely strong support line over here. I mean, this line has just been reiterated over and over and over again, 223. And this is why there are so many folks who I think who are fundamentalists who might discount the value of TA, but the value of TA can really give you the benefit of knowing, okay, well, and this is hindsight, we know this, right? But it can give you the benefit of, okay, hey, we're at 252, we're at 260, 270, not a buy op. Back to 220. Hey, this is skating around bottom, right? And these are things that I like to do heavily when I invest, is try to make sure that I time my purchases as much as possible when I can close to these support lines, help keep those cost bases as low as possible. So let's go ahead and explore some other losers over here. Vinco Ventures, Macy's, Upstart, some real pain over here. Cloudflare falling a little bit today. SoFi 2.76%. SoFi personally is not something that I'm ready to even remotely buy the dip on, and it's solely based on the charting that we could see here. I mean, if anything, I would certainly, like, if I was just so anxious to buy SoFi, I would certainly wait for something like a 1912. Now, this isn't even that good of a level. I mean, this is just a level that was kind of more thrown there. Much more preferred to be around that 1780 level, in between 1471 and 1780. Between this is really where we were channeled for SoFi. Now, no guarantees that we're going to return to that kind of channel. Same thing with Matterport, right? No guarantees. You do not have to return to a channel. And right now we're seeing a pretty nice, sort of support trend build up here on Matterport, which is wonderful. Definitely great to see. So let's see here. Give me a second here. Okay. One sec. Okay. All right. Anyway, one sec. All right, there we go. All right, let's see what's going on with Nano Dimension. I see one of you commenting on Nano Dimension. Oh yeah, look at that, Nano Dimension. Finally, with a 6% gain here. This has really been one that has been rotating down pretty miserably here. And it really had so much momentum to it. And the CEO, honestly, you have to give him credit. And I was saying this, I've been making a lot of videos about Nano Dimension during the time of this run. Nano Dimension is one of those that really, the CEO, every time the stock went up, issued shares, and basically raised so much capital because he knew that momentum wasn't going to last. It was very, very, very smart. So I'm really impressed with how the CEO, great job. Not necessarily the best for investors, but then again, the broader sentiment movement here, the sort of bleed out on Nano Dimension, is not something that I think he really had an effect on. He just took advantage of high price points and raised capital as people continued to buy the stock. It's honestly what GameStop should have done more of. But then again, GameStop did pay off all their debt, so they did some decent work. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to CoinMarketCap for a moment, and then let's see some of the headlines here, as well as tracking this Bitcoin Futures ETF. which we talked about a lot already, but we're going to cover some more. So let's see here. Coin market cap. Right now we've got Bitcoin really running. I mean, look at the 7 days here for a moment on some of these coins. Bitcoin up 14%. Ethereum's up a respectable 9.3%. I've got a lot more Ethereum than I do of anything else. My next closest is Cardano, and unfortunately, Cardano's just been sitting flat. It's really missed out on this last week's run here. You've got, and the same would be true for even Solana. Solana up about 2.75%. Polkadot doing very well, up about 20. Yeah, Dogecoin up 7. Uniswap up 10. You've got Shiba Inu down 2.45%. Polygon up 20%. So you've got a lot of volatility within the coin space right now. Worth mentioning. Let's see. So somebody in the chat saying, Kevin, your sold Enphase puts printed tendies. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see here. Let me see what it's sitting at right now. So what do we have? Weeble. Let's see. S&P 500 at 450 and Enphase. Oh, it's up 53%. That's great. Yeah. Sweet. Offsets the loss on the dumb lemonade call from November. That's great. Although I'm still bullish about lemonade. I don't get less bullish because the stock price goes down. If anything, I'm tempted to increase my exposure here on lemonade. Really tempted. Especially even here. Look at lemonade though. Kind of run into the close here. Just the insurtech space, the lemonades, the Hippo, a little rough. Low vol right here. Low vol on Hippo. But yeah, just rough kind of bleed out here. And what's fascinating is look at that bleed out on a TA basis. Basically go to where the prior bleed out level was. So honestly, where you sit right now with Hippo from a TA level, you're not far above this sort of bleed out level, which is about 416. You're sitting at 425 right now. You're not terribly above that. So for a little bit more of a risk on play, this was SPAC disaster. This, in my opinion, was overvalued. This right here is skating along bottom. We've seen a lot of stocks skate along bottom, like Robinhood skating around this 40 level. It's been lower, but 40 seems to be a big issue for Robinhood. It just sits there and skates along the bottom. All right, let's see. So, all right, let's go ahead and see some headlines. What do we got going on in headlines today? Bitcoin Futures ETF demand surges in U.S. trading debut. Most cryptocurrencies are garbage, Guggenheim suggests. Ouch. See what he says. Majority of cryptocurrencies are worthless and will fail, with just a handful of big winners remaining, Guggenheim Partners Chief Investment Officer Scott said. Similar to the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, the world of digital currencies will produce some breakout successes like Amazon, which went public in 1997, while most of the field will fade away, as did Pets.com. Ooh, the FUD. I mean, he's probably not wrong. A lot of them are going to disappear. He says 70% of the coins are garbage and will go away, said in a Bloomberg television interview. Let's listen to it. What else are we doing? Let's see if it can load. Oh, they're going to give us an ad first. Okay. Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. Hardly a value play, but wouldn't recommend shorting it.
A week or so ago was warning that as we see a stimulus, we're not even withdrawing stimulus, we're just slowing it down, that we could see volatility, we could see a significant sell-off in risk assets. You don't think that's a risk?
I don't think right now it is. The seasonals, I had written a piece about 3 months ago, how I was concerned about the resurgence of COVID and the Delta variant, and that we could get a pullback in risk assets. I think we've had it. I think last week the surge we got in equities marked the bottom. Seasonally, stocks do very well between here and May. And it's really interesting because I think it's also spilling over into other asset classes like crypto.
Yeah.
So, you see Bitcoin and what it's done over the last few weeks. I I can't tell you it's a value, but I won't tell you that you should short it because it's likely to be higher in the coming months.
Would you go into the Bitcoin Futures ETF? Or do you think that was, or would you want to go long Bitcoin in and of itself?
Well, I mean, Bitcoin in and of itself is very difficult. Like for us, we've invested in Bitcoin for our clients, but you end up you have to be in something that's a tradable vehicle like an ETF. So I think the ETF is a very interesting development, especially for, institutional and individual investors who don't know how to, how do you buy a Bitcoin? How do you set up a wallet? How do you safe keep your Bitcoin? Because if you just leave
is he not going to mention? Oh, I hope he didn't screw it all up. I think I screwed it all up. Was he not going to mention that it's a Bitcoin Futures ETF and not like a regular? See, this is something that bugs me. I was on a radio show this morning and they were asking me about the Bitcoin ETF, and yesterday I was on a TV show in San Diego, and they're like, hey, well, what about the Bitcoin ETF? What about the Bitcoin ETF? I'm like, well, first of all, it's not a Bitcoin ETF. It's a Bitcoin Futures ETF. We're going to make a big distinguishment here because now you're trading commodities contracts. And if you don't know anything about contango or commodities contracts, you don't want to touch this thing. It's very, very different. Forget this guy. We'll go over here to this. What do we got over here?
Stuff that was coming back after the Delta variant outbreak. So, we expected that, but my goodness, auto sales down 1% after being up 1.8% last month. And then if you just look at IP way off. So, we see weakness in high tech, weakness in the private sector. It's really spreading through to the economy. And look, the PBOC does not look like it's going to move anytime soon.
And President Xi talking up, almost endorsing a property tax here, Damien. Just looking at the conversation as it evolves in China, that's going to add more pain to this, isn't it?
Absolutely, not making anything easier. Although we did see a little bit of good news on the property side last week. On Friday, one of the property issuers, Shinwan, basically was able to agree to a debt swap on a dollar bond with its creditors. So look, it is possible that they can get through this, and certainly Yi Gang, the PBOC chief, was on the tape overnight saying much the same thing. But the weakness in the real economy is starting to really take hold, and I am surprised that the PBOC is sitting on its hands. We are calling for sub 4% GDP growth in the fourth quarter.
You think they should move?
Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah.
No, and do what, Damien?
Well, look, this becomes a matter of liquidity. Jonathan, the longer they wait, the longer the redemptions are going to pile up. The risk of default rises. Granted, CDS swaps in China have basically gone as high as 60. They're now back to, I think, 48 today. But still, the risk is there. And if it grows, they cannot get funding offshore. They're going to need to find funding at home. And if the PBOC is not there to provide it, all bets are off.
They have capacity to move. The rest of EM right now, they're going the other way. Damien, thank you, sir. As always, Damien Sassa. Bit of economic data in America. It's a downside surprise. Let's get to it. Here's Abby.
All right, I'm going to pull off this discussion over here. So interesting on the risks there in China. By the way, looking a little bit at, y'all know I like doing this. I'm just looking a little bit. I do this all this morning. We did a bunch of this in the course member live stream. Many of you there, you know this. We're looking at options and calls and things to buy or short or short-term trades. Generally, we're not shorting. But anyway, I'm looking here at net put contracts sitting at just over 10%. If you go out to Feb, that is out to Feb. You go out to December, not so juicy. But Cloudflare is one that I'd be watching because I suspect the volatility for Cloudflare. This is the contract, so let me show you the actual chart. There you go. I suspect the volatility for Cloudflare is pretty nice right now. So I'm going to do a quick little HVG on this. Let's see, historic volatility graph. It's up, but it's actually not as high as it was on 10.6. 10.6 was really the bottom here. Look at that. Right when you had this U-turn in pricing, the inflection point in pricing, that's actually when you got that change in volatility. AMC down now 4.6%. Had a great day yesterday. Everything was pretty much having a great day yesterday. Yeah. Looking for selling puts over here. Who knows? Maybe Lemonade's the way to backdoor in. Something that I've been looking at for a while as well is maybe you pick up some of these 65 sold puts. You sell puts over here, you're getting almost 10% for a hold of about 60 days here. Let's see here. Yeah, isn't that weird? 59 days and we'll be at December 17th. Like that's crazy. Yeah, wow. But anyway, I've got it. Let me see here. Okay, let's see here. Lemonade, as of the last, because I have so many stupid accounts, it's so difficult for me to track these darn things. So Lemonade sits at about 2.76 of the port. And yeah, like Outlet, more speculative, is like 0.78%, right? So Peloton 0, for example. Redfin. Redfin used to be like 5.5% to 6%, but it has sold off so much. It's like 3.6%. I never really added to Redfin, though. Never really sold it. Yeah, Redfin, I just have such a low basis on it. I'm not going to do anything. Square's another one that I really want to pump up a little bit, but I'm not in the mood of going into more margin right now. So let me look at Square quickly. See if there's some sell puts over here on Square. Probably not. Yeah, 254. Probably not on Square. It's just looking at the chart, we've popped off a little bit here. We're if anything, we're popping around a level of resistance here. So this is a potential. This is probably not exactly where I want to pick up more Square. You look at over here, we had a resistance roughly here, and then of course where we sit now. So we want to keep an eye on that and make this a little weaker here. There we go. So we're gonna watch Square, but I would say on Lemonade, it's been a while since we've actually seen Lemonade in some of these levels over here. Look at this, May 12th, folks. May 12th, we had an intraday low of $60. We closed at 64, and then the next day we had an intraday low of 58. That was the 13th, closed at 62.74. The thing's trading at $66 now, while everything else is rallying. Honestly, I think InsurTech has just been left behind. This could be an opportunity to pick up a little bit of cash. I don't love going out too far, but let's just do for giggles here. Let's go explore for a moment here, and we got 2 minutes before the close. If you sold a March, yeah, okay, yeah, this was similar to what we were analyzing this morning. You're waiting another 3 months for less than 50%. 4 months. That's not really worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and sell some of these here. All right, let's go do, I don't know, how much do we want to sell? 30. I mean, how much do I want to buy? I'm okay with selling 50 of these if I can actually get this to go through. Let's see if I can sell it. Yep, looks like that presumably went through. All right, so we're getting to the closing bell here. I'm going to send an alert, as I always do, to those folks in the Stocks and Psychology Money group. If you want to join that group, by the way, check it out. Link down below. There is a what's it called? A coupon code. Okay, let's see here. Okay, hold on. Never mind. I can't get my order to go through, so maybe I won't. I'm not going to chase this thing. So I guess some people probably front ran me here in the stream, so I'm not going to send an alert. But anyway, usually when that's fine, I'm not going to chase this thing down. The worst thing to do, by the way, is chase some of these things down. So no problem. But anyway, that things like that are things that I look for. And when I actually execute, I'll go through and send an alert, whether it's for crypto or what it is. And yeah, so let's see what else is going on. Look at this fall into the close here, folks. Getting stream sniped on trades. Yeah, probably. Look at this fall into the close, folks. This is definitely a fall into the close here. Well, no, but it's not the S&P 500. It's just certain stocks. Look at that. Cloudflare, a little bit of a fall into the close here. AMC falling into close. SoFi. Let's listen to the bell. Oh, you didn't even see that. Darn it. Hold on.
Over the last couple of sessions. As we approach the close, though, we are up almost 3/4 of 1% on the S&P 500. The Dow is up 0.5%, and the Nasdaq up 0.7%. Ringing the bell here at the New York Stock Exchange is the CEO of Delta Airlines, Ed Bastian. You can see there EXL ringing at the Nasdaq.
All right. So Russell 2000 is up 0.36, NASDAQ up 0.71, S&P 500 up 0.74, Dow up 0.57. Really good moves here overall on the indices. A little bit of a drop on a lot of different stocks here into the close. Take a look at this for a moment here. You've got SoFi down into the close. You've got Cloudflare down into the close. And Okay, hold on. Netflix earnings. Here we go. Netflix. We had Netflix streaming paid net change 4.38 million. The estimate was 3.72. That's a beat. The EPS came in at a huge beat, and revenue was a match 7.48. EPS came in at 3.19 versus 2.56. This is really good for Netflix. This thing should be going off right now. Or at least it will. This is great. Great job, Netflix here. More numbers coming in right now. We have streaming paid users coming in at 8.5 million. The estimate was 8.32. That's very good, better than expected. Revenue matched again. So far, this is looking very good. Netflix workers plan walkout over Dave Chappelle, though. That was reported a little bit before the bell. But overall, these are very good earnings coming through here. We just got Q4 revenue expected of 7.71 billion versus 7.68 expected. That's also a beat. This is a triple beat so far here. Netflix now up about 3% in the after hours. So good job, Netflix. Let me quickly see if we have any of the others out yet. WD, not yet. Interactive Brokers is out. Interactive Brokers comes in with a Q3 net revenue of 42 million, EPS of 43 cents. This is a miss. Ooh. Oh, this is a big oops on Interactive Brokers. This is not going to be good news for something like a Robinhood, folks. Interactive Brokers coming in with net revenue 464 million versus an estimate of 640. That's a big oops. If I go 464 divided by 640, that is a miss of about 28% on Interactive Brokers. Not so good. Trading revenue must be down. Maintaining its quarterly dividend at 10 cents, though. Big miss at IBKR. Let's take a look at Interactive Brokers here. Yeah, let's see. How are we doing? If I can find the darn thing. IBKR. There we go. Down about 2.78%, which is roughly what Netflix is actually up right now. Yeah, Netflix right now up about 3% on, quite frankly, smashing earnings here. Really good job on Netflix's part. So let's see. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Q3. So that was comprehensive EPS came in at 34 cents versus the estimate of 76 cents. Their individual or their regular EPS here, they're reporting at 78 cents versus 75. So that's closer, but still the sales were a huge miss. Again, net revenue of 464, their sales net 464 million versus 640.4. Yikes. Okay, then we have United is not out yet. Netflix says 4.4 million new subscribers in the third quarter, surpassing expectations. Yeah, again, the expectation there was 3.72. Added quite a bit more than expected. So great job. Streaming growth tops estimates. And yeah, wow. The moves on Netflix. Good job. Let's go ahead and take a look at BTC while we wait for some of these other earnings here. Yeah, still running the 64,000 resistance here, trying to push that. United Airlines, we are waiting. Interactive Brokers, Q3 customer counts up 75%. Nice. WD, still waiting. So we're waiting for United and WD. Both of these did have an indication that they would be a 3:30 announcement time. So let's go ahead and see what else is being covered in the news. Let's pop on over here for a moment.
Of last year, and we are just getting really the third quarter earnings season underway, so that number is poised to go much higher because this is going to be the hot topic as companies grapple with shortages of inputs and logistical bottlenecks. Let's talk about some of those input costs because, of course, among them are commodities which have seen prices skyrocketing. We know this story well. Oil at its highest since 2014, the metals at their highest since 2011, all of that contributing to elevated producer price inflation, which is what we see at the bottom panel of this chart. But the thing is that it's just one part of the problem, because even when companies can secure the goods that they need, they face a massive challenge in getting them where they need to go. Global ports are extremely congested. RBC Capital Markets estimating that
Look at that freight rate coming down there. Shanghai to LA freight rate dropping now at 10,898, down from that peak of almost 12,500.
40-foot container from Shanghai to LA is off of the highs this year, but still have 170.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull off their discussion here. Again, waiting for Netflix, waiting for WD-40, so we'll come back on them. Oh, sorry, WD-40 is in now. So WD-40 comes in with revenues. And we have fourth quarter financial results, 8.41 million, EPS of 61 cents. We had net sales between 522 and 542 for the year. The estimate was 501. That's a substantial beat on guidance. EPS for Q4 forecast. Wait, hold on. This is. I hate how they do this. So sees 2022 EPS 5.24 to 5.38. The estimate was 577, so that's actually a little bit lower. Their sales in their fourth quarter here were 115.2 million. Net sales, 115.2. Their EPS actually came in lower than estimated, 61 cents versus 124. So they beat on guidance, but they got hurt here on really both their forecast and their EPS. So I wonder if at WD we're having potentially some real supply issues, not only just supply issues, but transit issues. So, all right, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, WD-40. No, not kidding at all. They reported earnings today, and a smaller company is likely, in my opinion, to be a little bit more sensitive to potential supply issues. So it's always good to pay attention to what's happening in the markets. All right. So movers in the after hours. Netflix only about 1.45 right now. Some profit taking there almost immediately, it looks like. You have Darden about 1.5% here after hours. Usually the after hour moves aren't so critical though. A lot of limited liquidity here at the same time, so not so great. All right, let's go ahead and see here. Okay. All right, let's see. Give me a second here. Okay, good. So, otherwise, let's go ahead and see some other headlines. What do we got? Let's refresh. Look together here. Netflix killed it. San Francisco, New York see tech salaries slip amid remote work. Wow. Googling job is once again more popular than Googling unemployment. Oh, that's a good idea. I want to look that up. Job, unemployment. Oh, look at that. That is too cool. Look at that. Unemployment plummet. And look, it plummeted right. You can't make this up. It literally plummeted right when we stopped paying people the unemployment boost on the federal level. All of a sudden, the boost goes away and the searches plummet. I mean, it's also not a surprise because, you had self-employed people receiving unemployment, which they're generally not eligible for. And so you get this expiration, you're losing a group of folks. Waiting now on American Airlines. We had a lot of talk about Netflix. It looks like Squid Games has been viewed 142 million times in the first 4 weeks of its release. And now Netflix is going to shift to reporting hours viewed for titles rather than number of views. I think that's a good idea, actually. It's kind of how we look on YouTube as well as total watch time. So that's probably a smart thing. Yeah, solid move there, Netflix, though. Great job. I mean, what a banger there. Yeah, do I think that the chip shortage and shipping crisis was artificially manufactured? No, I don't. Could there be rumors around that? Of course. Before buying your program, what platform do you use for the members only lives? It's actually YouTube. Yeah. And then BB, yeah, BlackBerry. It's a momentum one. It's not something I would go long on. I'd be careful of things like that. So, do you think blockchain already solves or will eventually solve the trust problem? Not exactly sure what you mean. I mean, I think the beautiful thing about blockchain technology is that you don't have to really rely on a centralized service. You get to rely on essentially code, which is undiscriminating, which is great. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing. So remember, by the way, get up to $70 in totally free stock by going to metkevin.com/public. Metkevin.com/public. Get up to $70 in free stock, and you can follow me there at Meet Kevin. They don't buy or sell your information, and they don't use payment for order flow. It's a pretty cool platform. You can also follow other creators there. Check it out. Metkevin.com/public. Coupon code for my programs, by the way, does expire in 10 days. We got another 10 days to go. Price go up again. All that inflation. So we saw this trend here on job and employment. Let's see what we have here. There may be a glimmer of hope for U.S. employers who are facing an acute labor shortage. Job has finally overtaken the search trend for unemployment. We saw this job. Trend could be a promising sign for the labor market, which has seen a dearth of workers from restaurant, hospitality industries to trucking and farming. We have desperate to attract employees. Companies have increased hourly wages, offered hiring bonuses, changed job requirements. By the way, I hear that truckers are getting paid like big bonuses right now for taking trucking jobs. We think that transfer payments and unemployment have enabled workers to refrain/delay coming back to work. Sure. An extra $300 a week in pandemic helped keep people. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's all they have to say? All right. I think that solving the trust problem may lead to the eventual separation of government and the economy. Yeah, I doubt it. I would be shocked if we saw something like that. I mean, maybe, but I don't think that would be anytime soon. All right, let's see what we got over here on CNBC.
And all that we're talking about right now, whether it's Netflix or other streaming company, was saying some of it is bound to pay off. So I do think it's a very important industry to watch, and especially as it penetrates in Asia Pacific, especially goes to mobile users as well. I think there's just a lot more levers that the streaming industry can pull.
Market was up 2%, now up 0.8%. What are the key things on the call for you?
Well, I think that expectations were super high. They kind of met them. The question will be the follow-up. The follow-through. The one thing I haven't figured out yet is what happened to ARPU. So those new customers, did they come at a materially lower revenue per user? Remember, there's two key things, new things we're watching here. One is gaming. Julia talked about that. The other one is they're rolling out more of these mobile plans in parts.
All right, I'm going to back off of this mobile plan talk. It's a lot about Netflix here. Well, instead, I want to address this question. So there's a question here. Kevin, how do you prepare your portfolio in case the U.S. and China actually happens? Tensions are at all-time highs. China has been creating tensions and heartache for American investors, and I would say investors worldwide, for as long as I can remember. I mean, 2007, 2006, even before the Great Recession, there were always Chinese fears. So they've become more salient at points during the Obama administration, the tariff war with also Obama and Trump more recently as well. Especially amplified by this Evergrande crisis as well. China's just always going to be one of these where I think we have these tensions. It's not something I personally think it's necessary to hedge against. It would just create essentially buy the dip opportunities. But it is something that I would pay attention to. Personally, if I wanted to hedge, I probably just throw money into index funds and then break the bank on those to go buy things that dipped. That's probably what I would do. So you have a little bit of a strategy there. In fact, that's a strategy you could set up for yourself as well. I don't even know. I mean, there should be fund managers that do that as well. But think about it. You just park your money in the S&P, and when dip opportunities come up, move it from that to buy those, because S&P goes down 5%, there are going to be certain tech stocks that are down 20, 25, 30%. So take advantage of at that point hopping over. But that way you're not feeling like you're missing out. So anyway. All right. What else we got? Still waiting on United. Come on, United. No United yet. All right. So after hours, we have, oh, look, Owlet's up 2.34%. EXPI is up a little bit. DQ, Skills, AMC, these guys rotating down a little bit. AMC just getting smattered a little bit here. Is that ports are not set up to clear all the containers off boats. They can work, but the ports don't have enough equipment to move stuff. I believe that. I think that's also why they went to 24/7. But beyond that, you also have the issue of there aren't enough truckers. There aren't enough ways to get all the product distributed and sorted once it's even within the port. You get it off the boat and you put it down on the ground. Now what? You got to sort it. It's got to go to the right place, handling all the logistics. It's a disaster. I agree with you. But I do think it's getting better, not worse. Just my thought. Anyway, so let's see here. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I want to hear this on the interactive brokers results, because again, this is probably not great for Robinhood.
Such an unbelievably strong period.
Absolutely. So our adjusted earnings for the third quarter were 78 cents per share. Revenues of.
This guy reminds me a lot of the Nordic American Tankers guy. Who remembers Mr. NAT? That was a funny one. Never bought that. Glad I didn't, because it plummeted.
So this was our second highest quarter revenue figure ever, surpassed only by the hyperactive first quarter. Our accounts growth were.
Never mind. He's kind of just going through his earnings report. It's kind of unengaging, unfortunately, at the moment. I'm sure there'll be some other stuff that comes, but not something I want to watch live right now. So let's see here. Let's look at this one. Okay, this has been obviously a big issue in the news here lately. While we wait for the United earnings, a big issue in the news lately has been stock trades by the Federal Reserve. We had a particular member, I believe it was Richard Clarida, who moved money from a bond fund to a stock fund the day before an announcement by the Federal Reserve. Elizabeth Warren made a similar move, but not near one of these catalyst dates. We've had other members of the Federal Reserve also make moves in stock portfolios, whether it's to different funds or to different stocks or whatever. We have seen such drama. And what we have over here is now new information that Jerome Powell may have traded potentially up to $1 million right before a catalyst event. Now, Jerome Powell so far has not been part of sort of any what's it called scrutiny up until now and this disclosure. So let's see what we've got here. How big a deal is Powell's $1 million stock trade? There's no way that insider knowledge would have helped Jerome Powell's one stock trade. In fact, his timing was lousy. Ooh, interesting. John throws it all out there in the summary. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. A Journal of American Progressive Left has published a piece highlighting that Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, sold between 1 and 5 million in stock on October 1st of last year. He did so through a Vanguard fund that tracks the total market. How big of a deal is this? Kind of also worth noting that the stock market just barely was getting out of the disaster of the September sell-off last year around October 1st. And remember that we walked basically right into the election drama around, I want to say it was week 2 and 3, maybe it was even 1 through 3 of October of last year, that were kind of a disaster right before the election. It was a perfect opportunity to go shopping in stocks, and took big advantage of shopping and buying the dip then. And it looks like Jerome Powell kind of bought before that. So let's see here. The full disclosure can be found here. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and look at the full disclosure. So there it is. J. Powell, I certify the statements are true and correct. And so what do we got here? We have T. Rowe Price Equity Index value. Okay, these are just the assets that we have. So he's got about $500,000 to $1 million in a T. Rowe Price, essentially something that tracks the S&P 500. Another $1 to $5 million in an S&P 500 BlackRock index, and then a SPDR index, 100 to 250,000. So he's pretty much all in on SPY. Kind of interesting. Spouses, employment, video production here, value not readily accessible. Okay, so where are the moves here? Let's see if these are other assets that he has. I'm surprised. I thought Jerome Powell would have a whole bunch more assets to put on his disclosure here. A lot of these are smaller sort of individual bonds that he's got here, $2,500 to $5,000. Relatively small numbers for J. Powell, in my opinion. Then here we go. Mutual life insurance cash value, 100 to 1 mil. Okay, Vanguard total stock market index fund, $1 million to 5. Here we go. Here's where the larger numbers are. iShares Russell 3000, 15,000 to 50,000. And here we go. Transactions. So really the transaction that was most interesting was right here. The sale. What? He sold the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index on October 1st between $1 million and $1 million and $5 million worth. Why would he sell? That's interesting. So he actually sold a chunk here October 1st. It doesn't look like he rebought based on this. Oh, well, here we go. What is this? Oh, here was some buying. And he didn't. No, this is a sale as well. That is interesting. We don't actually get dates for some of these other purchases, which are kind of annoying. We have all these endnotes that we'd have to go through to find them. That's not so ideal. And in fact, I don't even know. What's the footnote here? I don't even know that we're going to get dates. See, none of these have actual dates. It just says see endnote. That's quite interesting. So gifts and travel reimbursements, liabilities, transactions. Okay, the section does not include things having to do with personal residence, treasury bonds, things like this. Okay, got it. It's not a big deal. Other disclose. There's nothing on the dates for the purchases, so it's a little kind of odd that you would see. Oh, and he closed his life insurance policy in 2020. Lots of liquidating. But anyway, so I wonder if he bought a big house or something like that, liquidated or something like that. That would be interesting. But why would you sell October 1st and September 21st? I agree. I think this timing is actually pretty lame. Where are your buys, man? I mean, you got all these smaller purchases here, but there was no big purchase here. That's very odd. J. Powell paper-handed. Did he buy a house? Let's see. Jerome Powell purchase house. Let's just see. Okay. Oh, thank you, Safari. Jerome Powell purchases house. Let's see if he did. No, there's really no talk about him purchasing. You think that would be news if he bought a house, right? So he didn't buy a house. I wonder what he did with his money. Let's see what the opinion article makes of this before we're still waiting on United earnings, by the way. It looks like Fed chairperson, a rich man from his career in private equity, holds an impeccably dull investment portfolio. I kind of agree. Like, I'm shocked. It's not that large. It's smaller than expected. Apparently, he got out earlier than expected. Virtually all passive and spread across asset classes, does not appear to have done much trading, barely, small purchases, and a sale that looks like it's either rebalancing or some sort of income to reinvest. Yeah, it's odd. One big trade was on October 1st. It covered the whole market, so no inside knowledge of particular sectors would have helped. Yeah, this is when the trade occurred right here, and the market took off like 33% since then. So very odd sale. Lousy timing. Completely agree with that. 35% gain on a good chunk of money. So he's already publicly addressed his intentions in August and September of that year. Yeah, he should have been keen to buy and not sell. No kidding. The American Prospect, this is that left-leaning group, the liberal group. They put together a narrative that makes the transaction seem more sinister. I don't know. I'm looking at the disclosures and having been in this market every single day here. This seems stupid. Yeah, man. There you go. JPow sold and got all in on BTC and Ethereum. No, he would have to disclose that. So unless he's not disclosing it, which I'm not suggesting, things couldn't be hidden, he would have to disclose that as an asset. That would be absolutely hilarious. Could you imagine if Jerome Powell liquidated his stocks and went all in on crypto? Oh my gosh, that would be the funniest thing ever. Fox Business, popular with conservatives, followed the story and headlined, Jay Powell sold up to $5 million in stock in 2020 before market tanked. That I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe, yeah, they're referencing maybe the little bit of wobbling before the election. That's nonsense. So it looks like the left group is nonsense. Fox News was nonsense on this headline. Sounds like the media is just being dumb as usual. The real issue here is the Fed officials have to be worried about conflicts of interest. Powell, whether it needs to be reappointed or not, blah, blah, blah. I just want to know where the money went, honestly. I want to know where the money went. Did he go cash heavy? I mean, you'd think it would show something. I mean, well, then again, you don't have to show purchases. You would have to show assets. So maybe, does he show assets? Yeah, cash. I think he went to cash. Oh my gosh. Why? That's the only thing that makes sense, because otherwise he would have had to show a purchase. So he probably went to cash for some reason. You know, he's probably just, I mean, he's never professed to be a trader. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like Jay Powell, but yeah, he's got a bunch of money sitting around in cash. I don't, he doesn't have to disclose a purchase for cash. And there are no purchases here under transactions for anything close to that amount. I mean, you've got some money maybe here, $50,000 to $100,000. But again, you had more sales over here. I mean, he sold a bunch of stuff in 2020. I think he cashed out. He's just like, F it. You know, that's about the extent that I could see of this. And do I think it was sinister? Not really. If anything, it was stupid. But then again, hey, maybe for his own peace of mind, he's just like, look, I can't take it anymore. Like, it's too stressful. We've rebounded a good amount. I want to get ready to potentially retire. I'm just going to sit on some cash. That's the only thing that I could really expect here. And so, in my opinion, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with this. I think this was probably a personal decision for Jay Powell. And I'm not going to complain about it like Fox or that liberal left group that implied it was sinister. Just my thoughts, just my 2 cents on it. Anyway, that's Jay Powell for you. If you want me to review other people's disclosures, let me know in the comments down below. Who else should I go through their financial disclosures? Whom else? What reports should we go through? I got a lot of votes for Nancy Pelosi and Joe Manchin. Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's keep going here. So we are waiting for United Airlines. Nancy and Mitch McConnell, Bernie. Bernie's is pretty boring. But yeah, we got to get Nancy out of the way. We got to do Nancy. The video of it. Oh, wow. Look at, okay. Bitcoin just hit another high here for a moment. Look at this. Bitcoin, it's at 64.1 right now. We did hit 64.3 for a moment. Go to the minute chart here. Yeah, 64.3 was a high that we just hit. Nice. Still waiting for United earnings here. Somebody was asking earlier in the chat why Tesla crashed. I can't really say that Tesla going down like 0.5% is crashing. If you think it's crashing, you probably shouldn't be in the stock. Okay, United is in. Let's go. Okay, we are at third quarter results. Operating revenue, $7.8 billion. The estimate was $7.64. That is a slight beat. We have EPS coming in at $1.44. Passenger revenue came in at 6.64 versus 6.72 expected. So that's a slight miss, but overall a big beat, which is leading the stock to actually move up. Remains on track to meet 2022 targets. Traffic up a lot. Load factor at 76.1. That's pretty good. We came in with a loss per share of $1.02 compared to 161 estimated. Wow. Wow. This is really good. Up 2.64% on the news. Great job, United Airline. Other stocks here. I wonder if this is going to move some of the other airlines at all. Delta, I want to say Delta reported last week, if I remember correctly. But let's see if that's going to move American at all. American Airlines, yeah, slightly. You're getting a little bit of movement on American Airlines as well. United on track to cut expenses to below 2019 levels. Nice. Can be more efficient. Very good. Outlet had a little spike here in after hours. Nice. Okay. So that's what happened here with PayPal? Okay, that might have been a glitch. PayPal there looked like for a moment it was up a chunk, but sometimes Webull does this. It does these weird sort of little glitchies. This is why you got to go to metkevin.com/public to get your free up to $70 in stock. Huh. All right. So very impressive. Good. Let's see. Yeah, golly. Let's see what else we got going on. EXBI tumbled a little bit into the close, but it's still sitting at 49.24. Pretty impressive. Cheesecake's been kind of rotating down a little bit here. Let's grab Cheesecake quickly here. Yeah, Cheesecake's been rotating down. Cheesecake kind of been pulling a little bit of a lemonade here. Lemonade kind of dragging along the bottom here. Affirm had a little bit of a red day, but when you look at it in perspective, it was really nothing. Affirm today. How do we do? Where is it? Where'd it go? I don't know where it went. Whatever. Oh, there it is. Affirm. Affirm was down 1.21% today. Apple was up 1.51%. Good job, Apple. AMD sitting at 116. Haven't really seen much from AMD here, but still back over 100, so that's good. CRISPR's back over 100 as well. Cloudflare lost about 4.3% today. ChargePoint up 6.43. Had a sweet option. I had like over 100,000 in options on this one, so that was juicy. Remember, if you want to get all my buy sell alerts, link down below. Programs and building your wealth, stocks, psychology, money. Also get my crypto alerts, which I'm looking for potential moves on crypto. We'll see. Still working on my margin as well. Enphase up about 4% today. Good job. Enphase. Seeing other opportunities here. GameStop not as green as when we opened this morning. A little bit of a nervousness in the market today. Nervousness over earnings, like Tesla coming out tomorrow. Oh yeah, to answer that person's question. Tesla was down 0.67% today. Mostly, in my opinion, because of fears over what's going to happen tomorrow with earnings. My expectations. CCL broke trend and broke support, could go lower. Oh, no way. Are you serious? Let me see what I have on this one. I think I have an hour chart on this. Nope, must be a day chart. Where's my... Here we go. Oh, definitely broke trend. Hard break on trend here. And yeah, it's gonna be blowing through multiple supports over here. We got here, sort of staircasing down. We get under 20 again. I don't know. But then again, got expensive debts. Lots of debts at some of these companies, so be careful. Anyway, folks, I got to take off. There's a pretty cool interview coming up in about 25 minutes on the channel here, so stay tuned for that. I will see you there. It is going to be Fund Manager, last seen on Matt Core's channel about GameStop, the SEC, and all the madness going to be right here on this channel in 25 minutes. So I'll see you shortly. Thanks, folks. Bye.